Hello, New York City and Weathersfield, distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously Connecticut cities. Through time, people of the intelligence community interbranch from Weathersfield. This means they are voices for the identity of the law. Note how the predicate shares value to the identity of English as means to the discernment of a particular identity of relationship to itself a verb can have as a main verb. Note how the predicate act has value to the law or a particular type of identity and or identity of value progression and or identity of value/value progression can be discerned as a criminal insidiousness nature of identity or thing or value progression. So we know that the branches of government were forced, tricked, hurt, and persuaded. They were tortured, extorted, and enslaved fact-human nature roles with blaming slavery, including witch trials, as a form of slavery, no, on other things other than ourselves. And that understanding and observing that and discerning that requires understanding how sickly distinctly witch trials were about slavery, but also sickly non-distinctly. A whole bunch of people from the intelligence community sought me out to sought me out as strangers to record, confess, demonstrate, confirm, since they were kids. They planted fake exceptions of knowing me. And federal rules of evidence is crime. Federal recollection of such instances, also with people I don't know at all, not just against me. This is how they keep fake teachers. This is how they keep tactical delusions overtly and simultaneously, insidiously, with the wisdom and correlation nature of each age of factual nature was his tactical ulteriors, and they pretend they're smart or wise. They get away with pretending passions and emotions tied to this. Because they have criminal insidiousness natures of positive treatments and or negative treatments and or exception treatments used by a breaching method, rolls with that, blaming other things other than themselves for the real causes of negative value nature progressions, acts, and nature. That's what you see when you discern. That's what you discern. When you could discern when they pretend passions, emotions, where they are that certain type of victim/hyper victim, as the Congress, for example, where they are manifest, hyper evidentially recorded being and having been used remotely, criminally for an influence, tactically delusions raw. Also, as the branches of government individually grouped together have predicate acts with facts, roles, needs to self-value that in nature, self-valuing that and having self-value to having been. Also relative to how they kept other things other than themselves, blamed for where and how. The breaching method that was the value of the sum of the laws and the fake integrity behind people pretending to be about order while using criminally foreign influence, positive and negative treatments, and identity treatments, therefore names treatments, and on a number of levels at the same time there. Uses of the theory of relativity in people's narratives regarding that, including as doctors. There are doctors within the Institute of Living before the World Trade Center attack in that context and since, in a number of capacities, also with the businesses' names and with individuals, overt criminal enterprises, private ones, people murdered and or reported murdered. And enough of the murders that even if they were all made up, they are involved with names involved with predicate acts, with facts, wire crime acts, and methods associated with the federal rules of evidence as crime methods and federal evidence as crime methods and acts and uses of that also singularly used. A number of people with the intelligence community, with Eric Jensen and with his grandparents and parents, have roles with families around um, Dearborn Street in Newington. Also with people with the name Spada involved with drugs and medicines crimes, with the Alcolo family, with doctors with badges, with the Leahy family, faked conversations with me. They have wire and mail crimes with a whole bunch of natures of people tied to my street through time. A guy with the name Britt dropped the name De Simone. These are one of the people involved with Newington Police Intelligence Community, currently foreign influence with the World Trade Center. One of the Cololo, people with the name Cololo and Demoro had rules of predicate acts with New Britain Superior Court and Hartford Court's families since they were kids. People they hung around with in high school and middle school, I didn't even know that. No, and they need to pretend other now because they have roles with criminally foreign influence uses of corners of streets like along Grizzle Street. And, in other words, they've been planting evidences. So, people associated with police departments and other police forms have been bringing up and demonstrating their roles through time associated with the corner of Town Line Drive and Southstein Highway and on and off that shopping center and on and off shopping centers along the Southstein Highway in Rocky Hill and Wethersfield. And these are with people next to Trinity College through time since they were kids at the three spots at the end of the Brown Turnpike. People involved in the intelligence community with Miami families and recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, involved with various natures of federal evidences crimes, foreign and domestic, military, medical families, people planting with evidences and fake having intelligence community roles with it because they are used criminally foreign influence remotely pretending other as roles with all sides in criminal and civil cases and victims advocates as collusions at locations even online recorded. They have criminally foreign influence readings of statutes relevant to that and its roles with their war crime acts and methods. They left out with their readings of statutes, therefore hyper evidentially recorded. So Judge Napolitano was one of the ones that have been discrediting things that were said on his Facebook page. There are people from Hartford Hospital that pretended conversations with me and also with Judge Killian, spoke fake things in databases, into records, also with and sequence chefs, and his role with his family members too, and where they live, and his roles with communications, locations, and speaking about his family members. And as we had fake conversations with me, also with doctors that never even had communication with me, like Leahy. So they have rules also with family members associated with the Delafera, might be them. His rules with town line businesses there and the food places too, with the policing of that. People associated with Mike, a whole bunch of people tied to a Mike Pandolf and a Joshua Schumack, and his mother, and the difference between his mother and the people, his neighbors, and is involved with the intelligence community, and with the Wethersfield Police Facebook page, and New Britain Superior Court Facebook page with child sex offenders before they were caught, also medical offenders, other natures of child abuse, his roles, also timed as roles timed with overt criminal enterprises and private ones, also with the medical community, foreign domestic. And he recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed the confessions of a Violet family, with them also involved with people involved with Koreans, also with the Demora family, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed roles with Koreans, people all along Route 3 and the Southstein Highway with them through time. On and off where the Wethersfield Police Station is now, where it used to be. There are men and women with the intelligence community associated with Lombardo family members that have been rolled with identity thefts, fabricating audio and video transcripts into databases. They have roles with names on all sides of campuses with facts, predicate acts, with the names near mid involved with war crimes and Wethersfield police now tied to it. And their roles with the uses of those names and of their kids and with confessions in the past regarding them from other locations. where and how they use, relative is where and how they use other people's names and force and trick and hurt other people to use those names with others. And unlock people needing to hide details and make up things. These are the people that are differentially with the interbranch at the same time, increasingly though with the overt criminal enterprises and private ones for different motivations, their roles, the narratives and the databases and their sources. And the four overt criminal enterprises and private ones involved. A whole bunch of people tied to it. Dr. Berger Sweeney with Trinity College, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. They hid from her and from other deans uses of them and of their family members, and they're leaving that out with descriptions of their roles that were timed with the relative murders and roles with them and or reports of them. These are people tied to former director of the FBI Robert Luskin and the DeMoro family and Joy Aiello and Aiello and others that never had anything to do with it. Some of them make fake exceptions and they do it to make it appear like they would never like I would never be their motives. Has something to do increasingly with the roles with the fire department next to Trinity College, with people associated with the men and women in the Aiello family, and their roles with Florida locations and foreign locations. They have foreign and domestic medical families involved with child offenders, spying on people and use truths as lies, use truths to screen lies. Criminally foreign influence like gang theft, fraud, slanders, roles with falsified police reports, also with mayors, retired and standing. On and off Weathersfield Parks, Joe Aiello has roles with federal evidences crimes, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, pretending other, but recorded roles with guns crimes, and with people involved in drugs and medicines crimes at the same time with the police forms and the intelligence community. His roles with the different types of the intelligence community, such as people with forensics locations and military locations involved with them. He recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed men and women associated with him and mayors and Christopher Cullen. Also, I never had a class with Christopher Cullen. He was recorded plant federal evidence is crime, federal rules of evidence is crime, and tool roles. But sometimes it's self-value too. They have roles with the intelligence community, criminally foreign influence. They have roles with uses of the family members of people associated with schools in different capacities. And then they leave out details, make them up, and fake motivations because they have motivations relative to their timed roles with other countries and overt criminal enterprises. Yukon has roles with Los Solitos on off Trinity College and people on off Hartford Hospital with unmarked police who are criminally foreign influence uses of pretending to hide that legitimately, pretending care for the police. When people by attacking people and demonstrating, you guys are recorded tactically delusions are up, fake punks. And you bring up other people's names. Name stacking is one of the things that is used to hide why you confess and pretend other your roles with the names of the World Trade Center too, increasingly recorded and involved with predicate acts with facts and with the names involved with WFSB with them faking fake conversations with themselves about the World Trade Center attack with the names hiding behind how they have the rights to use the lie where they applied it for but they don't have the right to use the lie. They've been using roles with all along Route 3 and its conjunctions to that, like the state judicial branch offices, roles with names that are what they call, I believe, Weathersfield Heights, near, which is like a housing, what they call a housing project. That word project in the projects, it's used to measure and maintain what the suburbs were designed for, entertain and used remotely while being self-valued and defended, where how it was you involved with torture, extortion, and slavery to cause negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures, while making the only means to cause positive value nature progressions, acts, and natures, criminal insidious natures of them. There are recorded conscious uses as roles with the names of the intelligence community with more World Trade Center predicate acts, and since to hide it has something to do with, in other words, they're lying about their motivations, and because they were influenced to sequence shifts and wire crime action methods associated with the intelligence community of a whole bunch of people with the name O'Brien and their sexual differences, including people associated with the name D. Simone, involved with sexual harassments with sexual groups and fake conversations with people, also with the fire departments. And the people pretend to be against that at the same time. They have black KKK and Confederate flag themed roles with the intelligence community of the houses near me that they're pretending are they're recorded involved with them with Facebook, with fake conversations with me, fake ties to me, fake natures of ties to me, roles forced the principal child abuser. Worse than just obstruction of justice. These are people involved with uses of the self-torture, self-value rules with torture, force, tricked, hurt, and persuaded, and with lies, with the news. I'm not even a journalist. The news journalist locations are recording, confessing, demonstrating, confirming, where they do good, but they do bad at the same time to deny it. For example, what they actually recording and communicating. Also with the names next to them with the intelligence community. They have roles not just with predicate acts with those databases, but also increasingly at other locations with databases. Increasingly with all kinds of things getting right back to the same locations. There are rules on off parks. There are people with the spots next to the state capitol who were influenced to have their pictures taken next to people to make it look like they have verbal conversations, as their roles with people with the intelligence community with Central Connecticut State University in the Britain that has been intercities, roles, planting evidences, and uses of that, where they have criminally foreign influence, middle school kids and grammar school kids at the same time with overt criminal enterprises and private ones pretending passions and emotions and pretending motivations and lying about the response of the people that they don't even know. And because if they say something, it makes it look like they know them. That's how they have only three branches of government kept. It has something to do with their roles with the shopping center on off Town Line Drive, with the foreign and domestic, with the intercultural rackets, with the nature like a spot of families and this Pamdall family that are involved with the people with the schools. And it's nothing personal against them. They're pretending that because they have the courts involved with them and the intelligence community and their family members involved. But that's hyper evidential. That's why we have to do things on paper where they have rules with violence, including where the violence is designed to make things look personal. That's one of the things they're communicated doing. They have the woods next to Central Connecticut State University recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed above that was something to do with this, where and how they have roles with the military of America, criminally foreign influence, leading up to the World Trade Center attack in that context and since. Also about their motives, fake. Their motives are fake. Others recorded than the courts have been pretending. And they get away with it because they record other things that are actually recorded first and pretend they don't realize that. And when they don't realize that, that's all true. That's also relative to where they have delusions mixed with the criminally foreign influence. Boolean logic, therefore logic. So, in other words, don't have to be a doctor to delineate their delusions from their criminally foreign influence factor nature motivations, aspects and natures and remote uses of them since founding. So there's an exception that might appear to be in demonstration of other, but it's in demonstration of the same thing. I went to a speech pathologist because people were pretending they didn't understand what I was saying regarding Hartford courts and the Britain courts and people associated with the District Court of Connecticut. I found out laughter and have it recorded a whole bunch of ways. They were influencing people to federal rules of evidence as crimes and child abuses on off West Hartford campuses. I don't know if that was an old Neil there then, but there's an old Neil family with their kids involved with a principal child abuser and with Connecticut news locations involved with it. There was a mom squad with WFSB with that difference recorded involved with child offenders, and including foreign and domestic medical and sexual offenders as the ones that timed the roles with overt criminal enterprises and private ones. So please get the mom squad and WFSB onto paper, one name in sequence with their interbranch sources. Let's go. and no Trento and Trento. I want a response for their confessions regarding uses of the word government, criminally foreign influence, while tactically delusions raw with child offenders and to force them, and their roles with obstruction of justice methods since, and their interbranch sources, and roles with those locations, names, fear God. Make sure they get on paper fast. I'm not even a journalist. And don't pretend it's personal. You guys reported this correctly true. Keep it on now. What they really communicated over the phones. They changed what's recorded. They fabricated conversations with kids when they were kids. A whole bunch of people tied to the Newington locations and New Britain locations, Rocky Hill locations. That have been planting evidences around my house and around everyone next to their houses. They have recorded confessions, demonstrated confirmed roles with the names involved with a mother that threatened, apparently, reportedly broke into one woman's house near me and threatened to kill them. That person and her neighbors, and in other words, on another street, on Griswold Street, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed with people from Central Connecticut State University, with the state police, their professors, and judges and prosecutors put with war crime acts and methods, also with the military. Also, a whole bunch of people tied to um, Paul Zano recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. I never had a conversation demonstrated it true. Paul Zano was involved with uses of syntax with the word Jew, repeated, and fake conversations with me. I never respond to that. I never repeated language patterns they had. Ray Claw repeats people's names with the intelligence community where and how they have quality aspects and natures that are manifest where and how they've been used remotely. And I don't know Kathy Tansey, and if only exception was recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed her roles with the intelligence community with the names that are criminally foreign influence involved with mail and wire crimes and criminally foreign influence uses of Central Connecticut State University by courts and the FBI and other agencies and their family members at the same time with other countries and overt criminal enterprises and private ones. And they're not legitimately with the Rocky Hill locations associated with this, um, with a Robert Reed. Robert Rodriguez. A Mike Roberts also confessed, demonstrated, confirmed by people tied to him. I know he didn't cut me up. We have no communication. They influenced it to make it look like I was tied to him or know him. They take pictures and pretend you had communications and never were at all. Change natures of them. Hide things about it. We came before it. They have rules interstates with Massachusetts and with Connecticut and interstates with people with New York City, people with the involve a whole bunch of rules with the names on off, intercities, roll along roads and routes with ordained staff fraud slenders, fake motivations for it, sequence shifts, roles with falsified police reports, all sides in criminal and civil cases. Has something to do with their roles with the Weathersfield police chiefs retired with the corners of Elm Street and Rocky Hill and Weathersfield through time, where they've been planting evidences all along Elm Street with those families and their uses of other people's names and their uses of reference to what the value of things that people say on Facebook is and or on social media. Yeah, the FBI has more roles with some upskirt natures, with a principal upskirt nature, with some on Twitter with some upskirt natures, and with some FBI confessions, which is a federal offense to pretend to be FBI. And as an Ian, when you have Ian's involved with the Weathersfield Parks and Parks and Recs and the community center involved further, and the campuses, they hid what I caught the principal child abuser doing, also because of uses of his kids and of other kids of other principals involved. They're being forced to repeat what others tell them and to make opinions online about what we say online dishonestly. They can't defend it on paper. They're also tactically delusions wrong. If they try to do that, you'll see. So from off the campuses, they have had collusions with in the written campuses, and I found out about how they have other campuses with the same names. All along Route 175, they've been planting tricks. They take pictures of you, pretend you know the people, and they have the syntax phenomenon where if you try to know what these are people that lied behind the people's backs to their teachers and leaders of campuses. As people involved with Joshua Stryker, who is involved with People that have been posting on my YouTube through time, like a Ray Cologne. Also, a Bob Chase recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, is one of the ones involved with, since I was a kid, whiting forensics is increasingly involved with the intelligence community in Weathersfield. Also timed roles with criminally foreign influence uses of Griswold Street and of the corners there in their narratives and confessions, and roles with those names, with the judges speaking fake things in databases, fake conversations completely too, doctors tied to them, as ones criminally for personally involved with names in the area. And it's nothing personal. This is everyone bringing this stuff up. Also, they said it's an Asian family involved with the ones further involved, planting evidences on all sides of my house, and with the leaders of the kids and their kids and their sense and sensibilities, recorded how and play. You need to follow mandated law on time, and then don't speak about your emotions and passions after, and then don't bring up more names. Don't play games with the people. Don't stop playing games. You have a Giuliano family also involved all along Route 3, increasingly with the people on off Two Rod Highway and Hang Dog Lane, involved with abuses of their kids that were effectively used to have them roles with identity theft, fraud, slanders against other kids like me. Their roles with falsified criminally foreign influence uses of that too, as ones involved with the two cooking classes I had, and the narrative of someone regarding there was a Carvel ice cream place, has people involved with the intelligence community with the males and females who have roles when they were kids with predicate acts, with facts, criminally foreign influence uses of themselves. And that became was shown to them where they're used remotely. And they need to hide roles with recorded all sides in criminal and civil cases. And the victims' advocates' names in the hallway recorded how kept needing to hide life aggressions through time. Whole bunch of people that use my name tied to that corner of the street near where the Weathersfield police used to be, at the South New Highway and Church Street. That's and we're involved with criminally foreign influence uses of Weathersfield town offices, further involved with wire crime acts and methods of the show, election crimes, criminally foreign influence uses of the meetings of the Department of Education, the town meetings and their locations, how located with Central Connecticut State University, and how it rolls with mayors and other natures of politicians. I fear God and get them on paper, stop making me bad. Fear. They pretend it's unclear. You guys understand what all along the Route 175 means? Right on off the witch trial spot and Web House. These are people involved with switching the names of that and leaving out why it was that name down. Not the Web House, Web House. Fear. I'll show you here. Names next to it too. Recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. Involved with the ones on my street with wire crimes and Weathersfield police confessions and name stacking. We're gonna address the name stacking into branch. Uses name stacking, and then they pretend everyone's evil. They brought up the name. I don't even know Officer Ed Powell. If he pretends other with exception, it'll show. The Weatherfield police can record and confess, demonstrate, confirm they use their influence to switch names and fabricate audio and video to replace what's recorded. So you can't know who's, and while they're preventing writing because they've been stacking fake things into databases, also an array of fake falsified police reports, switching to different arresting officers' names so no one can respond to it right. It's their roles with East Hartford intelligence, like a Magnano's family. There's women in their family that work at Central Connecticut State University. They also have roles with the intelligence community with strippers places, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed who are roles with foreign and domestic families with the intelligence community on off Central Connecticut State University. And sexual circles where they have multiple boyfriends associated with a Bobby Jean who has roles with New Britain locations in Elm Street in Rocky Hill, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. Uh, Communications wise, as people from Weathersfield through time with that location, as people who had roles with pretending conversations with me with little tricks like that and confessions with people you never see around, things like that. Except they lie about that too. The value of it. It's recorded how they stay stupid fakes at formal evidence reception locations. While people are in New York City, in Hartford, Connecticut, let alone New York City, let alone Hartford, Connecticut. This is unacceptable. The suburbs were designed before our founders were born. The suburbs were designed before cars, let alone cranes, let alone us all working together, us all real looking, what's recorded, the ground's tactically nature. It was designed with slavery entrenched north and south. The causes of that are blamed all the things others ourselves. Our founders wanted us to say that. They wanted nothing to do with slavery. They had to hide the rules, countering the breaching method because it was too deeply entrenched. Now one has branched. Vaccines, here comes. Who disbelieves? Knock, knock. Knock, knock. Answer the question. Knock, knock. Follow mandated law. Into branch. Who disbelieves? Who disbelieves? Knock, knock. You ask me my name, I'll tell you. Fear! That's not it. I'll tell you. Ask me. Because you have more bug spray rolls, including uses of it. Forced, tricked, or persuaded by the leaders of the kid rolls with that. I'll show you something what they're doing with the names next to the campuses too. Fear God for the wire crimes with the fire departments and other stuff you guys making me keep talking about. And don't fear God for the names you guys brought up with the demonstrations by the Dillon family before my new neighbors moved in. They were recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confront roles with some untimely deaths. I don't know if Trinity College with the neighbors that lived there before. They're also involved with switching names and federal rules of evidence as crimes, federal evidence as crimes, and uses of that are also singularly used, and also nature of identity theft, fraud, slanders, and roles with the elderly home involved, including with the ones involved with the military, with Hartford Hospital, and with the translators and their professors also. All each of the sciences recorded how used remotely. So also professors I had have roles with Mike Pandolf's confessions, recorded roles with all sides in criminal and civil cases at depositions, locations, and then again through time. Roles planting federal evidence as crimes, federal rules of evidence as crimes, and uses of them roles. Fake motivations too, because they have roles with a whole bunch of other countries. There are people involved with Glastonbury Intelligence that use my name associated with their kids, and he's a professor at Central Connecticut State University. He has more roles with some World Trade Center roles, including they force Saudis to roles by attaching them to the fake audio and video transcripts, including as people involved with former Director of the FBI Robert Luskin and his co-defendants Thaddeus Grabowski, John DeConch, and Dominic Lepriada, and their neighbors and families involved with the same house near me with wire crimes at the Wethersfield Police Force, switching names, making confessions. Confessions are also used distinctly by the breaching method than by the church to show us also how sickly non-distinctly all the locations' names are fake integrity when it comes down to it. Everyone's too scared to get the only three branches of government, get them to one name and sequence, because really these are the same ones over criminal enterprises and private ones. If they want forgiveness, get on paper and come here. Make sure they get on paper. And they're fast. That's what mandated law says. It also attach me to fake behavior, aggression, and fake opposite. They do the array like that. You're going to see all kinds of predicate acts with facts methods. They've been used now at medical locations where it has nothing to do with medical and way worse since founding. So they owe more money than we need. And they have criminally foreign influence readings of statutes and uses of that also singularly used. Hartford Hospital has a number of lawyers and their family members roles in war crime acts and methods with them. And with the judges, fake. Delusions raw too. I'm going to show you this. Make sure they get on paper. Judge Napolitano, let's go. Let's get the Judge Kelly and the Judge Smith and the ones involved with this Kathy Tansey and hiding behind women like that, playing games, pretend I had conversations with our friends. Don't tie me in fake ties, my neighbors with them. And the clots, in their clots, with people with the intelligence community, foreign and domestic military, with CCSU, fear God. They're not legitimate with the other countries, with the Koreans. They're not legitimate. They're not legitimate. Make sure they get on paper fast with those other countries too. Play games. Let's go. Come on, let's get on paper now. Fix the fake news. Fix the news predicate acts. Get off. Apologize to the others you put on that and or with too also with the mom squad. Don't play games here. Fix the fake conversations with me. Tell them about what I caught you doing with child offenders, forced leaders of the kids before that. Because I caught more before that and since too. Fear God. Yes.